All right, guys. Welcome to part 4. I got my bellow kit in yesterday, and then I got a little tool in here to be able to take that apart. So let's get started. I already got it back kind of halfway in the garage, a little bit, not halfway, but you know, on the edge of the garage there a little bit, close to my tools and stuff like that. So let's get this stuff opened up and start working on this stuff. All right, got the packages open. There's a little tool right here. There's the bellows, gasket kit. There's the gimbal bearing, which I'm not going to replace. Clamps, zip ties. This is the water hose. I think this is the water being pulled from the lake. It goes up to this tube, up to the engine. So you know, everything's in here. Let's see. Yeah, there's the. I think that's the exhaust bellows. That's the one that's ripped. It stopped. So yeah, there's all 3 bellows, hose, clamp, crimps right here. I think they go like on the edge of that or something. Zip ties, everything's here too. All right, let's start getting some of this apart here. All right, got her off. Wasn't too bad. Some of the gaskets destroyed. I don't know. I think this part, yeah, this part was missing that I showed you right here. So there's no gasket here. You can see, you know, part of this is still stuck on there, as you can see. But yeah, see, there's no gasket there. So look right here. So this thing's full of water. The bellows is in there. So what's happened is, obviously with the leak back here, and then this being like this, so this was leaking all in here and filling this up with water. And then, so there was 2 leaks here. This gasket wasn't placed right in there or something, or the O-ring wasn't placed right. And so the water was leaking out here and filling this chamber up. And then since the gasket was missing right here, it was spraying out this side right here. So all this was being filled up. So, I forgot this is the speedometer cable. I forgot to do that. That's why you saw it up on the jack stand, because I forgot to take the speedometer cable off. So yeah, that makes sense. This and yeah, that needed to be repaired. It did, because of that. Yeah. Yep. It'll be looking brand new when I get done with it. All right, let's put this back to stand in here and continue on. All right. I know I need to take out the shift cable first, but I want to make sure I got both of them broke loose. You know, I want to make sure they're returning. I wasn't going to, you know, be caught with my bridges down before I take this off and take the shift cable out, because you got to take this off and then take that little nut off, and you got to take it off under there and work it through. I think you can take that little ground off too. So yeah, there's that.
All right, guys. I kind of quit filming last night. I kind of run into a snag a little bit last night. But I got everything apart. Um, uh, I don't know what I'm saying. Okay. There's a light on here. This is the next morning kind of show. Right here, there's oil. Right there, oil line. That's the oil line going for your gear oil. Let's see. Okay, here's the line right here. And I ended up breaking the tit off inside of it. So you can see where it's real short right there. A little nub on it. And so it's about 3/4 of the tits up in here. I broke it off last night trying to get it off. I got some line that I found in my drawer, threw it out here, so it may work as a replacement. I got to get a new one of those. They're less than $10, but they're easy to replace. Well, as soon as I broke it off, oil started dripping out because it works by gravity. And I was like, oh no. So on the other side, oil line coming down, it's got these quick disconnects, just like this one does. This is this speedometer right here. And I was able to snap it off and pull the line out and kind of put it above the engine, where it wouldn't drain no more, to keep it from just pouring everywhere. I didn't know what to do. And I looked at video, and there's like a little C-clip in there on the other side. You just pull the C-clip out, you just pop it right out and put a new one, and just put the C-clip back on there, and it just snaps on, like that. So far, I've got to order. The gimbal bearing seems to be good. It's a sealed, newer one. It's sealed. Seems to be good. I'm gonna have to order a new one of those oil things. And here's the shims. One of them got destroyed, got stuck. So I'm gonna have to order a new shim, a pair of shims. I mean, they come in a pair, and that goes right here. But everything else it's completely tore apart. Everything else looks to be good. Yeah, I'm about to order that. So I'm not going to do any more work to it this week until I order those parts. That's less than $20 for both of them. So I was hoping to get all this repaired. See, I was going to tear it apart tonight and then start putting it together this morning. I'm kind of under the weather right now a little bit. I was going to start putting it back together this morning and hopefully took it out of the water today. Well, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And if the gimbal bearing ends up being bad, maybe, once you can replace the gimbal bearing with all this together, with that on there, with the bellows and all that, because the puller or something plate mounts to this part. So you don't have to take it all back apart, because if you took it apart, you're replacing the bellows and you got to cut them. They just don't come back apart. So yeah, it's gonna do it. As far as I'm gonna start cleaning this up and organizing it. It's gonna do it for this week. As far as that, now hold on just a second. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. I had to put you on pause for a minute. Got a float. I talked about that float stuck in part 3. I had to reach down there and I thought, man, I might have to just put a float in there. It's easy to get to, and I had one. I bought this for the jet boat. Thought I needed it for the jet boat and didn't know. I just put it in my stash, and I remembered. I said, do I still have that float I bought for the jet boat? And I do, right here. Because it had some kind of weird sensor type float in it where it senses the water and then it comes on, and it worked fine. So I may put this in here in the meantime between the time I order these parts and they get here, so I'll work on that. And I'm gonna clean up, do some organizing, and pull this boat out and everything, because I'm kind of that's to do, but put that float in there. So yeah, let me order all the parts and we'll get back to it next weekend.
All right, it's been about a week later. The footage you seen right before this was last Saturday morning. And this is a week later. about to start working back on this again. I had the boat pulled out of the garage all week, and I just backed it in here. I didn't film none of it. But a lot of things went on this week, as far as parts, stuff like that, information about what to do going forward. Well, it ain't like something's major wrong. I'm just talking about options. So, as y'all know, when I took all this apart, I broke the little piece, the oil line right up here. The oil fitting comes back and feeds oil, gear oil to the lower unit. Broke it, and I bought one. It came in the mail Thursday. It's right here. I get it opened. I ordered 2 washers. You know, one of them is good. The other one got destroyed. It was cut in half. The felt washers, fiber washers, whatever they are for the drive here, they haven't got here yet. They shipped out DHL. It says it's supposed to be here Wednesday, but I can do a lot here. I could pretty much get it completely put back together, try it out, and then insert the washers later. I can put one of them in because one of them's still good, and I can just pull the bolts out, take the trim things off, and you know, if I can, you know, test this water, it probably won't hurt nothing. Tested the water. So I started doing a lot of thinking about the gimbal bearing. You know, that the bellow kit come with a new gimbal bearing, and so Sunday night I ordered the washers and the new oil thing right here, which I'm gonna open right now as I'm talking. So I started doing a lot of thinking here about pocket knife out here about replacing the gimbal bearing. All right, they make a tool, a puller. It runs anywhere from, I don't know, $65 to $100, and see, there's that piece right there. Right here, and there's the O-rings. So install. So there's that. That's all I've got. You know, I couldn't, you know, without that, I couldn't do anything anyways. The washers, you know, they'll come next week and I'll put them in later. So I started thinking about the gimbal bearing. And I thought, man, you know, with that leak that was back here, that squirted the water out to the side of the outdrive, you know, pretty much this whole bellow, you know, there's 3 bellows, the exhaust, the shift cable, and then the shaft. Well, that shaft bellow was completely full of water. You know, it had water in the bottom, you see, when I was taking it apart. So what happens is when it's sitting in water, but when you got water hooked up to it, water goes in there and fills that whole chamber up. So pretty much there was water pushing on that bearing, however long that leaked for. Anytime it was cranked up with it in the water or with muffs hooked up, this gimbal bearing had water on it, salt. And it wasn't leaking past it, the seal, into the boat. I guess if you didn't have that water squirting out the side, you'd never know. You would have never known about it. So I wonder how much water has damaged that gimbal bearing. I thought, you know, I've got everything. I got all the bellows out and everything. I thought, that gimbal needs to be replaced. So there's a guy that lives down the road that works on boats. He's got a business. And so I was thinking about it Monday. And so I drove by his shop on my way home from work and asked him about what he would charge just to replace. I said, I got a new gimbal bearing. I don't want to buy the puller. I said, what would you charge just to pull that one out and put a new one in there? You know, and all the gimbal, all the bellows is out, you know, and he said, yeah, it's the best time to replace that is while all this is apart. It's a lot easier to, he said the pulling ain't no different. Because the puller fits on the part that fits in here that I got over here. The puller fits on that, but all this, you can see all this real good in there to put the new one in there because you got to hammer it in there with an alignment tool. He says I charge $125 an hour, and it would take about an hour to do it. And I was like, oh, okay. And he said, yeah, those pullers. I first asked him if he could rent the puller to me. I was gonna do it myself. He just looked at me and shook his head no, like, nah. I get the money, you know, and it's one of them deals that, you know, and I'm going to charge you what I want to charge. And you could buy them, and he was like, yeah, them pullers cost $200 now. They cost $65 to $80, 70-ish on eBay, free shipping. And so I was like, so Monday night I was like, nah, I thought I was gonna run it by there and have him just replace it real quick and me just hang out and go back home. I thought I'd rather pay $50 less and do it myself, and then possibly sell the puller, maybe get half my money back out of it and do it myself. Because I'm real prideful on doing that. If I can do it myself, I'm gonna do it myself. This is part of the videos. It's part of buying this stuff. I didn't have to take that camper and have it worked on, not one time. I mean, I may come up in the future, but as far as getting that thing unsalvaged, I did everything myself. And I really enjoy it. My wife says, you like projects. If we was millionaires, you would do this stuff because you love the projects. I said, I do. It's one of my hobbies. I love it. So you know what I done? Oh, get up for just a second. So you know what I done? You know what's in there? I ordered that Monday night. It came yesterday. Puller. That's the puller. I can't see it. Let me drop y'all down just a little bit. Okay, yeah, there's the puller. So, yep, it was around 70-ish for free shipping. It came yesterday. I didn't think it was going to come. Because this is a big deal. I had to have this. The three things that I ordered, which was the puller, that oil fitting, and those felt washers. If I chose one not to arrive by the weekend, to be those felt washers, because I can do I can pretty much get this thing 100% back together without those washers, and I'll just install them later. Either one of them right there hadn't showed up, I won't be able to do nothing. Now I'd be able to replace the gimbal. If this showed up and this hadn't showed up, I'd be able to do the gimbal and then vice versa, but I couldn't do nothing else. So, yeah, it just sucks that I can't do nothing else with it. Once this has been replaced, get that new gimbal bearing. Once this has been replaced, so there's a new gimbal bearing. It looks just pretty much like the one. Yeah, just so much smoother. Looks just like it. You're supposed to put that dot at 10 o'clock and then there's at 10 o'clock. And I think you put this groove, this is a non-greasable one. I reckon a lot of people will replace the greasable ones, and this don't have no grease fitting over here because this is you don't grease it. It's a non-greasable one. So, all right, I'm gonna get that piece and get it installed, get this puller on here and get this thing out. They work pretty good. There it is. And got a little play in it. Can't really tell, that ain't got any play in it. Come out. Whew. I'll have to get that bearing off the end of that. I can take this back off now. God's way. I thought I had recording, but I guess I didn't. Sorry, I thought I had this thing, and I thought, man, I forget having it on record, but take him off. I thought I recorded me. I got the new gimbal in. There's the old one right there. But yeah, I got the new one in. I thought I was filming, but you know, it's pretty much. I'm not going to, you know, show you how to do it, because there's 15,000 videos on your YouTube showing you how to do it. This is just about me doing it and boat being a project. And if you want to know how to do it, you know, search YouTube. So there's a new gimbal bearing in, ready to go. That's actually the easy part. Trying to get those bellows and stuff. I did buy some. I didn't buy no adhesive. I'm supposed to buy some what they call bellow adhesive, but I bought this instead. I heard this is a good alternate. Black super weather strip adhesive. Walmart did have some like marine, but I heard that if you have to take it back apart, you'll have to cut the bellows off. They said it like glues it permanently. It's kind of like Loctite red permanent. This stuff, you know, it'll help seal it, water resistant. But I heard this is a lot cheaper than I guess next is to replace that little oil seal. All right, that was a straight up nightmare. 3 hours later, I got this hose on, clamped on there. I took the old one off, and you know, you got to cut it. That fitting, the tube fitting, it turns 90 degrees, goes up in there. It's like laying flat against the transom. So you can't even get behind it with the tube and twist it on. And this tube is straight. Now I've seen 2 or 3, I watched 2 or 3 guys' videos, and they tell details on how to do this. And one guy does it film him putting the tube on. And one guy, his tube is like completely curved. It's like perfectly curved. You know, like it's the actual Quicksilver Mercruiser brand. This is just an off brand. So the tube is straight, and I trimmed like the end of the tube, you know, with a knife a little bit, where I tried to get in behind it. It wouldn't. So what I did is I watched a video on how to take that tube out. And what I did is I didn't take the tube out. There's a little bracket on the other side that's got 2 7/16 bolts. And that's how you take the tube. You take that plate, you got to take that tube, you got to take the opposite tube off, going up to the engine off. And you take them off, and there's a bushing you got to cut. But luckily, I was able to just loosen those 2 bolts, and it kind of loosened everything in there. And I was able to push this way, and the bushing kind of gave way, like slid on the tube, because the tube don't have any grip on it. It just, the bushing goes on there. When that plate clamps on there, it tightens that bushing down on that tube. So what I did is, luckily it slid on the bushing, so I was able to push it and make it come out about this far. And I just went right on it. It took, you know, less than 2 minutes to get it on there. Twist it right on there and clamp it down. So I'm gonna make sure it's pushed all the way back. I'm gonna do all this first, and then I'll tighten those 2 7/16 bolts back up later on. When all this is done, you know, I'll tighten them up when all this is kind of set in place and everything. So yeah, whew, that was a nightmare. 3 hours later. All right, guys, turn this light on here. Today is Sunday morning. I've gone about as far as I can with it. This thing is a complete, absolute nightmare to do this. I remember that guy, I don't know if I told you earlier in the video, the guy that I went and seen to try to put the gimbal bearing in. He said he charges $2,300 to do this, to replace the bellows. He earns every bit of it, I tell you. I've got everything completely put back together. The only thing is this ring right here. This ring, it goes in here. It fits the bellows for the this part right here, for the shaft. It goes actually on the inside, and this ring goes over it and holds it tight. It's got a groove inside here, and it fits in this groove. So I can't get the ring on manually, and there is a tool that you're supposed to have it's the same size as this ring. It fits in the ring.
and you take it and use the alignment tool that I use to press the gimbal bearing in. It's about $8 to $10 free shipping is what it cost. So that's where we're at. I can't get that ring. I seen one guy on YouTube use a block of wood about the same width as this and hammer it in there. I'm not going to do that because my luck doing stuff like that is pretty much zero, because I would probably hit it one time and it would probably like fold and crinkle in half. That's just, you know, and then I'd have to turn around and buy the tool and buy another one of these anyways. Plus, the shims are not here. You know, I said that they were, you know, they shipped DHL, and that's the shims that go here and here. I do have one shim that survived, the other one didn't. And so it kind of works out like, well, the shims ain't gonna be here till Wednesday. I go ahead and order the tool for this to put this in properly, and then I can batch this. Because what I was going to do if I got this completed yesterday, I was going to take it out in the water, but I was going to leave, not put there. You're supposed to put Loctite on them two boats, and I was going to leave the Loctite off until the shims come in, and I just going to take the boat out, put the shim in there, put the boat back in there, do the same on this side. Obviously, the whole outdrive will be on this, and it'd be super heavy. And I thought, man, it's going to work out a lot better just to wait on those shims and go ahead and order that tool for that ring to get this hammered in there. So you're looking at, after the day, you're looking at another week before you see another video. So yeah, another week on this video. And tell you, I got a new project right here. It's coming up, this thing right here. I'm actually got a lot of stuff filmed on that, but I'm waiting on parts on that. So that's going to be a new series coming out after this boat's done. I may start on it, you know, before the boat's done. But okay, back to the boat. I ain't even going to tell you what it is. Super neat. Keep an eye out for it, guys. Super neat. You'll love it. You know how I like to fool with the old stuff. It's a 100-year-old, what this is in this cabinet. So, yeah, so it'll be next weekend. I'm going to clean up here, clean my mess up. It's going to be next weekend before we get back to it, when I get that tool in here and get those shims in here. Once that's here, everything should be wrapped up on all of this. Getting all this put back together, should wrap it all up. Once it's all wrapped back up, we should be done. You know, we should be done. Another thing is, I do have an oil leak somewhere in the motor. I don't know where it's at. I got to find it. Yeah, I don't know where it's at. My parents was over yesterday to pick my son up. They took him to a little thing yesterday. And, well, my dad's seen the boat. He's been here when I've not been here a few times, but this is the first time they've been by since I've been here and the boat's here. And my daddy wanted to hear it run, so I cranked it up for him and let it run just for a few minutes. Couldn't hook water, just a few seconds, and I shut it on, cranked it back up. Well, later on, when I was in there trying to put that piece in there that was broke and putting the clip on it, there was oil in the water in the bottom of the boat. You could just tell, it looked like it just poured out of the engine. I mean, for what little bit it run, I'm like, there is an oil leak somewhere, and I got to find it. I mean, if it didn't use much oil, and like a car, well, you just drive it. You just drive it and keep oil, but this thing would make an absolute complete mess inside that bilge area. If it leaks oil into the bilge area, it'll be a complete absolute mess. So I'm gonna try to find the oil leak in it somewhere. I mean, you just look and it just, I'm gonna have to crank it up. I'm gonna have to let it run, hook water back up to it, and just let it run and run and run, and just look around the engine, look around here, look around there. When I had this thing running on water before, it just didn't seem like it was leaking bad. But man, I was like, good night, so I don't know. So, all right, guys, that'll wrap it up for what I've done to it yesterday. So the next part of this video will be next weekend when I got that tool for that ring right there, and then those shims, and this should wrap it up. Hopefully I'll have this back out on the water next weekend to make sure all this is,
you know, doesn't leak anymore and everything else.
All right, well, since I'm waiting on I'll be waiting this week on that little ring tool to put the ring in on the bellows, and then those two washers, those fiber washers for the drive and stuff. You know, I thought, well, I'll go ahead and work on this chair. I was wondering, you know, that big 1-inch piece of plywood in there, I said they must have done that to some spacer. No, it's because this thing is completely shattered all the way around, right up through here, right up through here. So what they done is they put that board in there, and the board kind of, let me zoom out, the board kind of kept it from rocking. So technically, if you had this bolted right back up here, you could probably lean the seat back and it would break completely off. I thought it was just broke like right here in this one spot, you know, but it's not. It's completely shattered, and they had that in there, so it couldn't rock. I don't know if I can fix this or not. I mean, it's completely shattered. I mean, I thought about taking some pieces when it was just broke right here, like these little plates with 2 holes in it, and just putting them down through here, and maybe, I don't know if they make any kind of plastic JB weld to kind of put in there, beef it up, and then put those pieces in there. I'm gonna have to swap this out with the other chair, because this will take a lot less of a beating than the passenger seat will take a lot less beating. So I don't know. I just didn't know it when I got it. I said that's why they put that in there. It was because this thing was completely shattered. It'd probably been better to just leave it alone, you know. But I'm gonna try to fix it. I had to cut 2 bolts off. They wouldn't come out. Man, it was a nightmare trying to get these bolts out. So I had to cut 2 of them off. I'm gonna try to get them out with a pair of vice grips. But yeah, they were a straight up nightmare. So I'm gonna try to get them out. I wish I could take this completely out of this cushion. I don't think I can. I think it's all one big piece. I'll have to take the fabric off of it, I think, to try to fix. It's kind of like a dual. I mean, it's completely shattered up in there. I don't know what to do. Yeah, it's like a 2-piece. Somebody must have been rough on this chair. I mean, really rough on it. I'd like to find a used one and just replace it, but obviously the used one would be broke too. What I'm saying is why I would like to. Wait a minute. I just now figured out something. I think I can take this bolt out and this bolt out, and this cushion will come out, and I can get to the, yeah. Oh, I might be able to salvage it after all. Okay. Yeah, if I could take this cushion out, take those 2 bolts out, I can get to the other side of this to fix this properly. See? So yeah, okay. This might be salvage. I'll have to put a bunch of these in it. And I'll put this on the passenger side, because my wife will be a lot less. She'll just, you know, me, I'm a flopper, so I'd break it, so I'll have to swap it out. My wife's chair. Yeah, okay. Let's stick these 2 bolts out right here, and we'll see what we got underneath. All right, I just took those 2 bolts out. Oh. Tell you what, let me get those 2 bolts right there out. With some vice grips. All right, guys. Working on the seat, like I was showing you. Well, I gotta have some parts. I'm gonna fix it. Let me show you. I've been doing some other stuff. I thought I could do, you know, waiting on, you know, I gotta order that ring part. I can do other stuff. So I moved the passenger side seat over. You know, you just pick it right up. So I moved the passenger side of the seat, make it the driver's seat. I greased it and everything was spin real good. So, you know, like I said, I was gonna swap them out because the fact that this, the driver's seat would take more of a beating. So I moved that one over here, and I'm gonna fix that one and move it over here. And been doing some wiring. Show you what else I'm working on. So I've got to go to Lowe's and get some parts for the seat. But I'll wait, because, you know, I'm working on all. I'm making a list right here. I did fix the running lights on the boat trailer. It just had a bad connection up there on the plug. That's it. Spray some, and the running lights work great. Every light in it works. All the 3 on the back work.
even the one that's broken, bent, all the running lights work on it. So it's just a bad connection. Or in the plug, not a connection, but in the plug. So seats, radio, running lights. All right, got my seat repaired. I don't know if it'll hold up. I got brackets all down through there. This is JBL plastic bonding all the way around. I got brackets all through there to help hold it together. I've got like 2 more brackets. I may put maybe 1 here, but I have to keep them out of the, like this one barely got in the edge there a little bit, and I bent this one a little bit. So I'm gonna see how well it works. It may, I put some brackets. Let me flip it over here. So that's the side it completely broke on. Was this side it was just broke away. So I've got one here and got one there. This side I pretty much used all of the plastic bonder on it. So we'll see. We'll let it dry overnight and see what it does tomorrow. See how well it performs. I mean, I don't know. Maybe not. You know, maybe it might be terrible or something. Or I may just barely even pick it up. And what else I've done? Let's see. Back over. I had 2 of those. What do you call it? These right here that you can buy. I use this as a mixing tool. I had to cut off inside there, and I replaced this one and this one inside. I tightened the bolts down so it could lock into place. Everything else is all this one, this bolt, that bolt, this one's all good. But yeah, this one and this one I had to replace. So I'm pretty much done with it right now. Bonding stuff makes a mess. So yeah, I mean, it looks very terrible. I know y'all are probably laughing at me. That ain't gonna work. If it don't work, if it breaks or don't hold up, I'm gonna pretty much do the wood thing like the previous owner had. But I'm just gonna get a plate of metal so it don't raise it up. I know why they had the plate of wood, because it sit and it rode on this and it reinforced the plastic. But what I'll do is I'll take that piece of wood, cut me out some, like, I don't know, 10 gauge, 11 gauge steel, and then drill 8 holes in it and just have it sitting on top of it. You won't even know it's even there. That's what I'll do. I may do that anyways, just thinking about it, and put that in there. Now I did swap it out. Now I put a bracket there too. We'll just see how well it holds up. Now this is going to be the passenger side seat now. You know, it won't take the beating like the driver's side seat, so we'll just see. So we'll let all this dry out and see how well it'll take, you know, obviously tomorrow dry up. And I bought some new screws. The other screws that were in it, somebody replaced some real long ones because they had to go through that 1-inch piece of wood. You know, when I first seen that wood, like I was saying, I thought it was a spacer. Somebody put it in there, but it wasn't. It was or somebody we're just reinforcing it. But yeah, let's let all this dry up, and then we'll check it out tomorrow and see how well it done. All right, got the chair back in there. Obviously, like I said, I swapped them out. I didn't film it for some reason, but that JBL plastic stuff was pretty solid. Now that's just a play in the shaft, but so far it's held pretty good. But I guess I can tighten that up just a little bit. It'll probably take a lot of the play out. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty rock solid. I mean, for a passenger, I think it'll be fine. This is all fixed now.
raise up. Kind of restapled that a little bit. So, I mean, this right here ain't really needed for a passenger. So far, obviously, you know, I wanted to have the good chair, so because it'll be the one taking the beating. So chair is fixed. I doubt my wife would sit in it much. She'll probably sit back here with my son when we're out on the boat, but we'll see. But yeah, so far, I'm still waiting on the tool to get here for the ring, to put the ring in on the back there on the stern drive. I want that tool in here so I can get that all put back together and go try this thing out in the water again. Hopefully I'll have this thing back in the water this weekend. I ain't got my ladder over here. It's harder to get in and out, so but yeah, hopefully. I've been parking this thing. I got a hump right here on my property, and I pull my truck and have my back tires in this hump, and it'll kick the trailer up and keep it drained. So that's where I've been keeping it. So yeah, hopefully that comes this weekend. And I've been thinking about just going ahead and buying a fender. Maybe this weekend, buying a fender and go ahead and replacing that, because that's about all I got left to do. Once I put that back and replace this fender right here, and that's it, unless I run into any kind of more problems. I mean, there's other stuff I want to buy. I got to buy some fenders, those buoy fenders, because the docks we have around here would just beat it completely to death. So some buoy fenders. Obviously, I'm keeping an eye out for a tube, a pulling behind tube. I'm wanting to get a Airhead Big Mabel to pull my wife and son on. Super Mabel holds 3, Big Mabel holds 2. So one of them. That's it. Other than that, I don't. Oh yeah. I still got to work on the trim on the corrosion. I might have mentioned it. I didn't show it, but I did clean all the corrosion up on the starter solenoid corrosion. I did clean all that up, and I covered all that with grease. So I try to hold the corrosion down a little bit, like you do on car batteries. Put grease on a little bit, the top post batteries. So there's that, and I'll try to get that cleaned up on the trim, and then that's probably about it. Hopefully this part right here will be the final part, part 4, and I should do it. All right, here we go again. All right, I got, these are the little washers that go on the 2 bolts to hold the thing in there. That one of them was good, one of them got destroyed. And then this is the little tool to help install this ring in. Little tool that goes on the inside, and we're going to use the alignment tool right here, hammer it in. So there's that. So yeah, I've got pretty much, I didn't film a lot of this. I need to get the light set up here. But everything that I've got should finish this up back here. That's how I was able to move this thing around. I don't keep it here. I keep it up there. So when I get done for it, like I've got about as far as I could go. I clean everything up and I pull the boat up there. I park my car right here. So pretty much, let me get my light set up here. Bring y'all in just a little bit. All right, So I'm pretty much, I got everything installed here. The ring goes inside of here. I still got to put, this in there and get all that on there. This is so yeah. This is the speedometer cable. It goes in the bottom. I still got to hook the ground up right here. I still got to put the cable in and get this all back on there. But now what I'm going to do is, when I put all this back together, I'm not going to, you're supposed to put Loctite on these 2 bolts, and I'm not going to do that right now because I would hate to put Loctite on there and then take this to the water and there's a problem. I didn't get something right. I didn't get something lined up. I don't have a bellow on there tight enough. It starts leaking. I'll be hot when I bring this thing home, and then I have to take a torch and heat that Loctite up and get that out. I'll be like, I shouldn't have put Loctite on there right now. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just not gonna put Loctite on there. I'll just take these back off, take the bolt out, Loctite it, put the bolt back in. Now it's gonna be a little bit hard, I guess, to do that with this on, with that back on there. It'll be heavy, but I'm gonna try to do it. It makes me think, I thought, man, that's going to be impossible to put that back on there. Man, I don't really want to put that Loctite on there without 100% knowing this is done. I mean, yeah, I may end up with a future problem, but I don't want to do that with not knowing if this is, I'm going to take like a wire brush, I'm going to clean all that up, or put that new ring in there. I got to put more gear oil. I lost a lot of gear oil out of that reservoir bottle. Let's see. Everything's like, I got to take that out and put some of that stuff in there before I put that ring in there. I guess I need to get this all put back together. I could have done that this week, I guess, because putting the cable back in there and getting all that fitting back in there and everything. I guess I should have done that. Another thing that I'm going to tell you. Let's see. Put you back in there. Put this thing up, see what it looks like. I'm not even opened it up yet. Knife out here. We'll get it right quick. I mean, this part's aluminum or something. But it's like less than $10. Oh, it's like plastic. Maybe it's aluminum or something. It just feels, it feels very plasticky. But yeah, it's supposed to. Oh, I don't like that it's got a lip on it like that. God. Man, I don't like that. I do not. I'm afraid it'll fold. I wish it was like about this much higher and it went to the curve. What about? Oh, another thing I was going to tell you is that a little bit is I actually attempted to work on the radio while I was working on the seat over there on the picnic table, and I filmed a lot of it, but I ended up racing it because it didn't go very well. I found out that I did some troubleshooting. I was able to get one speaker working, sounding pretty good on the radio. The other one was cutting in and out. Did some research, found out the amplifier in the radio was bad. And you could buy the amplifier, it's a chip. I only had like
it had like 20 solders to it, like 10, 10 a row, 2 rows of 10 solders to it, side by side, and the chip would get really, really hot when it was playing, and it had like a huge heat shrink on the back of it, the back of the radio, and that's all it was for the amplifier. Amplifier was like $8, so when I found the number on it, and I was able to buy it, and it came same time as this ring tool right here. And so I've got one of those solder guns that's all it's made for, is to suck the solder. I was able to get the chip out of there real good, but put the new chip back in there did not turn out very well. Somehow the board just didn't. I've got a temperature set. I got a soldering gun. I've got 2 or 3 soldering guns because I work on antique radios, but I've got one specifically for circuit boards that you can change the temperature on, because you get the circuit boards too hot and the metal strip will come up on them, and that's what happened. I couldn't. It was either too hot or too cold. Either wouldn't melt or it would destroy the board, and when I would get the solder hot, it would blend over to the other joint next to it, and that was a nightmare to clear up. And I destroyed 2 strips. One of them I was able to, I could salvage with a piece of wire. The other one, I destroyed it. And as soon as the strip come up, there was no way to repair it. And I just grabbed the board and went, just broke it. I already been working on it for like 3 hours. That was earlier this week. I just broke the board in half. I was done, and I don't regret it. So I'm gonna end up putting a radio in it now. The radio's destroyed and it's in the garbage. I filmed a lot of me soldering on it and working on it, and it was. You probably see it's laying there opened up in some of the footage with the seat, because I'm gonna have to edit. I haven't edited yet, but you've already seen that part of the footage. I had to edit around it, but yeah, it didn't turn out very well. I was like, man, $8 for a chip instead of $100 for a new radio. But I'm still, after that, I'm still leaning on replacing the radio in this fender later on. Just not me making it part of this series. This will probably be the last part. If I take this and get this straightened out, fixed, and I take this to the water, and it runs great, no leaks, no nothing like that, that'll probably be it. Because I don't really want to spend $100 on a radio, and that fender is $50. Now you can get on eBay and find 2 fenders for like $40, but they're not the right ones. But the right one for this trailer, for this boat, I think it's a caravan trailer. The right fender for this boat is $50 for just one. I don't want to spend $150 for a radio. I'm gonna wait. I got to do my taxes tomorrow, so I'm gonna wait, and I'll probably wait towards nice weather, like May, because the tags run out of this thing in May, and that's when I'm gonna go pay the taxes on it and get it registered in my name, and everything will be me in May, and I'll probably do all that together, right there together, and that's over 2 months from now, and I'm not gonna wait 2 months to add that to the end of this video, and make y'all wait 2 more months for part 4, and I don't want to make a part 5 because it would be enough material for part 5. So, because that stuff, like I said, that stuff, I just don't want to spend that kind of money on something like that. If I had to spend $100 on this, yeah, you got to. You have to. Like I bought, I spent $60 on a bellow kit, and then I had to spend $70 on the alignment tool for the gimbal bearing. You got to. That stuff is, I don't have to buy it right now. I can solve the problems with this boat without buying that. So, all right, I gotta get all this ready and get the alignment tool and everything ready and try to get all that put back in there and get it going. Ooh, that thing was a nightmare. Usually when I start filming myself working on it, I end up running into a brick wall, and then I have to quit filming because I usually get really mad and really frustrated and start using really foul language. So all I had to do is, when I had the ring on there, I had to take a hammer and fold it over more of a ramp, and it went right in there. I mean, there was once I got it in there and it didn't like it. But yeah, I had to fold it over the curve because a little bit so it could go in there, and then it went in there. It went in there pretty good then. I gotta get this shift cable in here. Do that. So I start filming, I run into a crossroads. And then, all those pieces over here. This is the stuff that goes in under the engine, the other end of the ship cable up there. That's what this bag is stuff for. This is all the stuff down here. Wait a minute. I gotta put it through here first. No big deal. Do it again. That goes in there a lot easier without the rag. You pass like a little hump right there and then it goes. That tightening in there. Get the Allen wrench for it. Wrench. Still got this wire thing. I guess I'll just use it. Let me break. All it does is just keep it from coming loose. Does just keep that boat coming loose. All right, guys, I got this thing back together. It was an absolute nightmare, and I didn't film none of it because when I get frustrated and I get a snag, I quit filming because I ain't too swift being filmed working on this thing. So I got it back together. Everything went together good. It just took a while getting the ring in there. Trying to keep that thing lined up when you put it in forward gear to get it back on there. The rings and everything else, but crank her up. Now, I got my truck running because my battery's dead on my truck, so that's why it's running. Trying to charge it up. It's a little low, so it's gonna be running in the background. No more leaks on the side right here. No more right there. Everything's tightened up. Like I said, I'm gonna put the Loctite in there once I tried out the water and all this is leak free. So then I'll take them out. Maybe put this on a block or something so it'll be kind of easy. Maybe I can ease them out a little bit. Give me a few minutes and we'll get all this stuff backed up. I mean, all they're left to do is go take it, put it in the water, make sure everything's good on it, everything's leak free and stuff like that. So yeah, so give me a few minutes and get everything back down. We'll get it back in the lake, try it out. All right, we got her back in the water. That was a straight up nightmare. There's a bunch of people around. There's a log over there. This is where we're going to probably take it when we go out this summer. So I just went and parked the truck. I crawled in the boat and looked before I got off the trailer. Everything looks good. There's nothing leaking so far. I've got the trim. This was with the trim up, but it's so shallow right there. I had to run. You know, it was a nightmare. So. There's a little bit of water at the bottom. There's a little leak right back there. When you try to put it in, all right, you see that thing right there? There's a little bit of a leak right there. See it? And the water, when the water's, see it? I'm gonna have to caulk that up real good. That's not a big deal. It's right there at the water line. So when you're trying to back it in there, I heard it pouring. So that little spot right there, that's not a big deal. That's the so that's where all that water's come from. So let me get her untied. Yeah, I ain't got my wife with me, so it's a little bit harder to fool with this. So I just didn't want to drive. That other place a little bit further, but I just didn't want to drive. So, all right, let me kind of get away from this dog. We'll put you in the stand. All right, everything's looking good so far. Running, idling good. I still may have a little bit of oil leak. When I run it at high RPMs, it's not bad. I'm gonna keep the eye on the oil. But so far, not bad. So let's get here. may have done something to my prop when I hit that log. I got it off the trailer. So far, not terrible. I ain't gonna put y'all on the stand. I'm just gonna. Back into my own wake. So far, not bad. So, I believe I'm pretty much done with this thing so far. Running pretty good, so got some people out here in kayaks. I gotta dodge them a little bit, but other than that, not too bad. I mean, the only thing I got left to do is fix the radio. I may put that float in the bilge. I don't know, the one that I've got. And I'll do that later on, you know, so, I mean, running good, driving good, everything else good, so. Well, guys, that was a successful run. I should have took it to the other dock that I had the first time that I first tried it out and found a leak. It's a little bit further, but that dock where I was at, it was absolute disaster. But now the boat run good, no more leaks, all that's fine. But man, there was a log right in there, right on the right side of the ramp, and it's put a couple chips. I put this chip and this chip right here, it pretty much, and you could tell by the vibration that it was throw the balance off on the pitch. But everything else worked good. All this, no leaks. Now, like I said, I do have one leak right there, but see, it's right there at the edge of the water line. So like you can have this at the dock, and when the water splashes, it leaks. So I'm gonna put some silicone, because it's not very much pressure. Try to get that all plugged up. I probably won't take this out in the water I'll probably wait till May. After that, all I like to do now, talking about the prop on this thing. Well, the prop, I don't mind it getting damage done to it, because this is a 21 pitch prop. It needs to have a 17 or a 19. I'm gonna put a 19 on it because that's a good overall. I don't know why they had a 21 inch prop or 21 prop on a boat that they wakeboarded on. They should have had a 17 on it. There's three, 21, 17, 17, 19, 21. 21 is for you ain't pulling anybody, you're cruising. That's a cruising. That's all you do. 19 is a good in between for doing a little bit of cruising, doing a little bit of pulling tubes, and then 17 is just for pulling tubes, and that's it. Pulling skiers, and that's it. That's all you do with a boat, or do with it. So I'm gonna put a 19 on it.
And because about all I'm gonna do is pull my wife and son down. I'm still trying to find a 2-person tube at a decent price. Keep an eye out for that, because that's good deals right now on this stuff. But yeah, I'm just glad it didn't get my bottom part, broke it off. But no, it's completely undamaged. But so yeah, I'm pretty much done with this. No leaks, motor runs good. Like I said, I do have a small oil leak. It's either that gasket where the push rods are, or my valve cover gasket. One of the two, which is not a big deal. I'll change that out later. I may go ahead and buy them and put them on there. Be done with it. So there's I don't know why, but I'm thinking I may replace both of them, because they're like $5 a piece, and they're easy to get to. So I may do that in the next 2 months. I'm gonna probably take this out again probably in May sometime. It's March 6th, I think today is, Saturday. So I mean, it's nice, it's in the 70s. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this probably in 2 more months. So what I'm gonna probably do in the next few months, I gotta build some of my money back up, is put a 19-inch prop here. I may get a 3-blade or 4-blade, don't know. Fix the fender here, and then put a radio in it. And then obviously pay the taxes, the sales tax, and get it registered. And so I'll probably take this back out in May. I may do a little short video with all of the updates I've done on this then. I just don't want to wait and add all that at the end of this video 2 months from now. So I want to hurry and get it part 4 put out right now. And then the boat's pretty much finished, and then, you know, you'll get to see it all cleaned up. By the time by the time I pay the taxes on it and get it registered, it'll be cleaned up. The fender will be replaced, the radio will be in it, it'll be spit shine and everything. So yeah, and I'll do a little small update video of everything on it. Well guys, thanks for being with me on this video series on this thing. It's been a huge success. That the motor really didn't, you know, the only thing is the gaskets. Those 2 gaskets could be leaking on it, but other than that, the motor has done brilliant. I mean, I didn't have to replace the motor. I thought this was a pretty much good deal, $2,000 with plus the fees. I've spent, let's see what I've spent on it. The most amount of money I spent on it was to repair this stern drive. The bellow kit was $60, and it come with a new gimbal housing. The tool to remove the gimbal bearing was $70. The little ring tool that I just got in the mail, it was around $8. This is all free shipping. I had to buy those washers. They were like $4. What else? I had to buy that little piece that went in there that was $10 that broke off. I already had the hose. The bilge was around 30 bucks. A new bilge for it was around 30 bucks. I didn't have to replace the battery, just charge it up. Float, I already got the float. I'll probably replace the float too. So that'll be in the update in 2 months that I'll shoot again. So I'll replace that, and I've already got the float on that. What do I have in this thing? So I've got about, what, say $200 maybe in fixing that myself. And then the prop is about $75, the fender's about $50, the radio's $100. I'd say $500 roughly that I've got in this boat, other than the $2,000, so $2,500. So pushing $3,000 for this boat with the fees, because I paid a lot of fees on it. So you're pushing $3,000 for this boat. Not bad. And everything that I've done to this thing, other than the blower, the blower tubes, they were like $20, I guess. Yeah. All right. So pushing $3,000, and everything that I've done to this thing had nothing to do with the flood or the salvage part. The $200 or $300 I spent in this, if I'd paid $8,000-9,000 for this boat from an individual without the salvage, I'd have to fix this anyways. fender would have been broke off anyways. The radio would have been tore up because the flood didn't cause it. The radio, none of that stuff got flooded. The water never got up that high. It was bad amplifier in the radio. The bilge was bad anyways. A flood ain't gonna ruin a bilge, you know, because they're supposed to be underwater. So it was already bad. So the only thing that I've had to do to this that was part of the flood was the blower motor was locked up, and it caused me to damage the blower vent tubes, taking the blower out, and buy an oil filter and run a little bit of diesel through it. That's it. And the blower motor, I could have salvaged those tubes if I knew that thing, you know, I probably could have just barely opened it up and stuck it and spun it in my finger and then put it back together. It wouldn't cost me a dime. So, all right, well guys, that's going to finish this thing up. I'm super tickled for this boat. You'll probably see an update video in 2 months because, you know, May is your, you know, Memorial Day. That's you kick off on boat. Hopefully I'll have a tube by then. I should. And I'm going to take this out probably by myself and really, you know, not just go circles around close to the dock. I mean, take it out there for the day, really rip and roar with it by myself. I mean, I'm going to make sure I got tools and stuff with me, but it's going to be cleaned up. Maybe the water will be warm enough. So, yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for being with me on this. I appreciate y'all. Like, share, subscribe.